Hello everyone, welcome back for another reading of The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia. And looks like there's going to be two parts left, guys. I did the math. There'll be two parts left. This is the finale eve, the semi-finale, whatever you want to call it. So I also was pretty dumb. I was thinking, like, where's the Skyward Sword section? That's right, that's the whole first section of this book, and we went through that already clearly. So we just got a couple more games to go. Looks like we're just looking at the DS titles, and then we're gonna do the conclusion, and then that's it. Heartbreaking, heartbreaking. All right, we are looking at The Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass. Ocean King, an illustration of the Ocean King, true form of Oshus. He appears in the whale form at the end of the game. Linebeck with his dashing smile. Linebeck III, a descendant of Linebeck who appears in Spirit Tracks, has an identical face, but slightly different clothing. Muto and the Cobble Knights. To the left of this picture, King Muto, who dwells in the Isle of Ruins. To the right is the spirit of the Cobble Knight commander, whose works in the king's service. There are 3 commanders in all, each clad in a different color. The first wears red, the second wears green, and the third wears yellow. Astrid and Kaio. Astrid, the fortune teller, and her servant Kaio. Kaio's initial design was more or less identical to the appearance in the final game, but Astrid's appearance was later altered, including the color of her hair. Bellum. The evil deity Bellum is the final boss of Phantom Hourglass. During early development, he was nicknamed Grande Octo, meaning Big Octorok, and I see why. Half-Dead Grande Part 2, heading to the ghost ship, and a picture of the Half-Dead Grande Part 3. Once Grande disappears into the ship, growths resembling its body start emerging all over the boat. The design isn't quite finalized yet, but they're wrong about this big. Oh, they're about this big. I'm sorry, I was wondering what that sentence meant. Check it out. Bunch of Phantom Hourglassy stuff. Yeah, cool. Monsters, normal, right before exploding and sleeping. Octomine. The members of the Octorok family were designed to be Bellum's henchmen. Cool. Got a Gleeok, got more Octoroks, Ink Octos, Ukes, and Stalfos. Looks like there's more focus on Octoroks in this game. I never played Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks. I saw Spirit Tracks yesterday at GameStop, but it was a little... I didn't have the money for it. Story of my life. Story of any gamer's life. Am I right, gamers? Yeah, I'm right. Concept art. Island designs. Island designs. Design sketches for a variety of islands. To the islands in the right was originally going to have a new addition, each time Link visited, gradually growing larger and larger. Mini boat. A design sketch featuring a boat. It looks as though it's propelled by manpower. Behind Link, Tingle and his sibling, pedal furiously. Perhaps the man at the prow is an early version of Linebeck. That's cool. I figured Tingle wasn't. I guess Tingle's in this game. Doesn't look like he plays a huge role. Linebeck seems like the new Tingle in this game. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. What are you gonna do? The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. We are now on that game. Link. Design sketches for the uniform Link wears during his time as an apprentice train engineer. This was the first Zelda game to depict Link wearing a uniform. Perhaps the large number of design sketches is proof of the staff's efforts. The final design was chosen based on whether or not it made him look like an engineer. We'll go with the type of brimmed hat. Really got little notes everywhere. There's one too formal. Brown could work. Dull, but also interesting. Black looks sharp. Overalls might be too simple. The bandana might overlap with Tetra's design. No hat. Link and Zelda, please avoid having them both wearing pink. The color contrast between Link and Alfonso, even though their outfits aren't the same color, I'd like them to use a matching design. It would be better to avoid having him dressed with green while riding the train. That's true. I want the rolled-up sleeves and open chest to make him look mischievous, with only the hat giving him a sharp look. And I think that's the final design they went with. Zelda. Zelda calls to Byron from within the possessed phantom. To the bottom right, Byron is depicted kneeling before Zelda in the manner of a royal retainer. In the final game, you see them meet for the first time, but perhaps it was originally intended that they would be old friends. Ah, that's interesting. Alfonso. Alfonso is a descendant of Gonzo, who appears in The Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass. In these design sketches, however, the resemblance to his ancestor is not as clear. So let's take a look. A lot of different design choices for Link, and I like it when developers really toss around what their characters are going to look like in a game, because it is supposed to say a lot about their character, you know? Like, they have one that says Link looks too formal. They have one where in this design, they have him say he looks mischievous, which is nice, you know. It's cool. I like that stuff. Chancellor Cole. Another one with a lot of design, looks like. Cole takes on the form of the Chancellor of Hyrule Castle. As far as I can tell from the design sketches, it appears that even in the early stages of development, he was tended to be a man of small stature, who would undergo a complete transformation. Yeah, there's a lot of different designs here. They got a variety of face sketches, a lot of stuff. Byron, too, has a few design ideas. Byron, a warrior of the Lokomo tribe, who schemes to revive the Demon King. Some of the design sketches depict Byron and Chancellor Cole together, perhaps suggesting that it was decided early in development to make them accomplices. I don't know what they did in the end, but it seems like that wasn't it. Yeah, see the bottom of this page? You got all these different faces and different ideas. All these different ideas for new characters. And, you know, that's good. You know, they don't just lazily put someone in. That's not right. That ain't right. Okay. Design sketches. Malladus. Malladus, after losing his hold on the body he occupied, some of the design sketches have two horns, which are some of the characteristics of his final form. Malladus, final form. Malladus, as he appears after possessing Cole during the final battle, allowing him to obtain a body. In the final game, he is four-legged demonic beast, but it seems that there were designs for a humanoid form as well. Malladus in death throes, wailing in agony after losing the battle. He never appears like this in this game. You can't help but feel a little sorry for him. Oh, that's kind of gross. Kind of a little extreme for a Zelda game, too. Illustrations depicting ideas for the fight with Malladus. This idea was used in the final battle. Yeah, the back and forth thing in Ocarina of Time, you know, when you use the Master Sword to hit Ganondorf's laser blast thingy back at him, or you can use an empty bottle. That was a funny joke. Originally in Ocarina of Time, it was an accident. They accidentally gave the empty bottle the same coating as the Master Sword for deflecting Ganondorf's light projecting attack. I don't know what it's called, but it actually was kept in future Zelda games, which is kind of funny. I wonder if they can do it in this game. I would like to know. Yeah, the classic way to fighting. It looks like they do that in the same thing. They also have the Dream Train with a bunch of sketch designs. And here, check it out. Look at all that. Here's the this one. Here is the thing that I was using in the game I was describing. It says right here, where you can't see it, this little note says back and forth. There's a couple arrows, just so you know. The Spirit Train, Malladus, you know, all that good stuff. Alright, sages. Anjin, who protects the Tower of Spirits, and the sages of the Lokomo tribe, who appear in shrines all over the world and aid Link in his quest. In the final game, Anjin is an old woman, but there are also design sketches in which she is drawn as a man. There's always old men helping you in Zelda, and I think old women's a nice little change of pace. I've been noticing that as I read this book, there is a lot more alterations to the Zelda games that I thought there were. There was a lot of new things added, a lot of interesting little things they've done to make a little twist to the formula. Which it's good, you know. I like it when franchises do that. I mean, if it didn't work, they'll take it out in the next one. That's pretty much how franchises work. What works you keep. What doesn't work you alter a little bit. And all in the grand scheme of it all, you have the same formula in which you want to keep on coming. You want that formula to continue in future games. I mean, if your games copy a formula, it's probably one of those hidden gem games, or games lost in the dust, or a bad game even. Design sketches feature these various sages and attributes and the instruments they play. The Sage of Shadow on the right doesn't appear in this game. Oh. And then they always have to scrap things, which is sad. You know, there's always ideas you want to put in. Every time I read about an NES game, I always find there's always something they wanted to do to it, but they could never fit it or anything. Same thing with N64 games, because N64 started the whole 3D gaming, or started multi-platforming, you know, kind of more complicated engines and such. And future generations from there started to expand on that, you know, get rid of the limiting. The more advanced a console gets, the less limiting they are, the more imagination they're developing and putting in their games. And you can always imagine, like in the Pokemon Fire Red and the Leaf Green remakes, from the remakes of Gen 1, they added a bunch of stuff they wanted to put originally in the game, like the boy-girl option, or the Sevi Islands. And it shows that developers always had a huge imagination when they wanted to put in their games. It just, the console was limited, you know. Even computers at the time were like that. The Commodore 64 games were very difficult to make. It very advanced. I mean, the 4-bit gen in general, the 4-bit games. I mean, like, there weren't really much to say about them. You just made the idea of a game was different until games like Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda came out. But you know, that's just how games evolve. You know, that's how they move on, and they get bigger and bigger all the time. I mean, Zelda is the perfect way to describe how a game gets bigger and bigger. If you compare the first game to Skyward Sword today, it's amazing. Design sketches of the Lakomo tribe. It seems that their vehicles, which are integral to their characters in the final game, didn't exist in early development. The picture of the Byron with a pompadour is quite cute. Oh yeah, here it is. The Divine. They resemble sheeps and ghosts. They have horns, and they're always smiling. Their eyes are generally hidden from sight, so you don't read their expression. They have listless eyes like sheep. Interesting. So here's some friends, you know. This page has the sages, and this page has the Lakomo tribe guys. Here's the pompadour on... Yep, that's funny. It is kind of cute. Here's the shadow sage I never made to the game. Ideas have to get scrapped sometimes, you know. I'm sure if they made this game for the 3DS, they probably would have put him in, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's why they made, the disc attachment for the N64, but that was a failure. Discs took a while to get accepted in the world. It was the PlayStation 1 that really started the whole disc craze. I mean, if it wasn't for the PlayStation 1, I would say we probably still would use discs, and that's something to admire. I mean, we probably still use cartridges, not discs. We probably still use cartridges to this day. I mean, some people prefer cartridges. There's a lot of pros and cons to the list, but ultimately, I think discs are better because they have more. It's easier to store things in there. There's more memory to it. It's easier to store things. You don't need a battery backup just to save your game. You know, stuff like that. I mean, you know, besides the memory cards were awesome, and now we have internal storage in the consoles, which are great. It's good. It's progress. You know, progress is good. Progress is good. Aboda villagers. The children of Link's hometown, Aboda Village. In the middle of mischief-loving Joe. To the left, his little sister Rai. The boy on the right was cut and never appeared in the game. Huh. Another cut. Citizens of Hyrule Castle and Hyrule Castletown. They have Join Us. Shitate, the teacher, guard Captain Russell, guards, let's see, they have a little color swap with the teacher too. I don't know if they're separate characters or not. They have Whittletown villagers, Papuchia villagers, with the Goron tribe, Bunny-O, He looks kind of creepy. He looks like a typical of his day. And Ferris, obviously he's the photographer of the game, and photographers in the Zelda game aren't as unknown. I'm not sure if it started with Link to the Past. I know it's in, I mean, there is, I don't know if for the NES game's anything like that, but most likely, yeah, it started there. Take a look. Yep. This is all cool designs and whatnot. They're showing off the imagination, sketches, and all that. Let's see, monsters. They have Fraz. Its front. Here's a description of the Stagnox. Its front wings look normal right now, but they resemble horns when unfurled. We can still make it look like an insect if we get rid of its similarity to the beetle. In order to make it look like a monster, they have the Phytops. Because most of the work goes into defeating the boss involves slashing at it with the stylus, its weak points were designed to be clearly visible, which is good. You know, you want to know how to hurt a boss, because it gets really annoying. I fought those bosses in the past, but what do I do? That's the only thing that goes in my mind and annoys me. Scale animation makes its beat like a heart thump. When you get to the top, no thorns in this area. Link doesn't fall. Thorn. Yeah, they put water around him so it doesn't fall. But they have phantoms, normal, torch, warp, and wrecker. I like how they have different types. That's what made Zelda such a 3D Zelda game so interesting in combat-wise. It's something that really got the gears rolling for future games, was making enemies with variety, different ways to hurt them, different ways to kill them, different ways to hurt you and kill you. It's different, and then that's where the different weapons come in to defeat them. And ever since Zelda 1, they had that. Of course, it wasn't as what's the word? Dynamic as it is now. They have the Snappers, the Hitois, Sizz, and the Armos. I hate Armoses, they're so annoying. Check them out. Look at all these crazy dynamic guys with differences and whatnot. I like that. Okay, they have the Keymaster. Resembles yellow like rubber. Looks like it can be defeated with a sword. The metallic one. Looks like the boss from Mario 64. You know, both, I think I mentioned this before in this reading, but both Mario 1 and Zelda 1 were produced at the same time. Which is Zelda was produced a year later, being a more sophisticated game and being the first game with a battery backup saving feature. Same thing with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. They're produced around the same time, but Mario came out first. It's a little pattern I noticed. They have a lot to do with each other, Mario and Zelda. I think that's something this book should have mentioned. Arguably, I always like to think, if Zelda came out first, would Link be in Mario's place and Mario be in Link's place? Something to think about. Something to think about. Okay, they also have the Armored Train, the Octorok original design sketches, Snurgles, the Sir Frosties, Dark Train, and they have a Booblin and a Bulbo. Alright. See? Yeah. Get all those guys. Monsters. They're important because you have to fight them. Alright, here are the trains from Spirit Tracks. The Spirit Train, which ferries Link and his friends across the land. The design on the train is a modified Hylian crest. The triangle is upside down because it's not associated with the story of the Triforce. That is interesting. I like that. I like that very much. You have the Wooden Train, the Steel Train, the Structure Train, the Skull Train, the Dragon Train, and the Golden Train. Lots of trains. Lots and lots of trains. Trains. Big trains, small trains, steel trains, structure trains, skull trains, dragon trains. Joke over. They also have the dessert trains. They have a few boats that look like trains. The sketches depict a variety of vehicles. Not all of them are trains. The ideas created around this time period and precursors to the time-shifting ship in Skyward Sword. That's cool. So, basically, there's a lot of dynamics and travel in this game, which is what the timeline this game's in, the new Hyrule, is very focused on. And this is definitely the most modern of Zelda, the most advanced Zelda games in terms of technology and time in general. Oh yeah, I'm so rude. Here, take a look at all these different things. See? Got some boats and such. It's cool. Alright. It's Ketria. It's Ketera. Let's go with that. Correct me if I'm wrong. To the right, design sketches for the Spirit Flute. Below, concept art for various items, including illustrations of Link using them. They have the Bow of Light, the Whirlwind, crests. Above the symbol of the Tower of Spirits and those of the temple found across the land, to the right, concept art depicting the crest and banner of Hyrule's royal family, as well as a shield carried by the Phantoms. So different crests here. They have the tower one, which again is the Hylian crest, but the triangle's upside down because there's no Triforce in this game. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff. I wish they'd mentioned some theories like the Tetraforce, because even that upside down triangle mentions reminds me of the Tetraforce, because that missing triangle in the middle is what. There's no Tetraforce, of course. Nintendo discredited that, but I would like a little think about that. It's something I wish this book had too. Tetraforce has a lot of interesting concepts, like that missing triangle could be a piece, or it could be a triangle of shadows, which shows that the Dark World even exists within the Triforce. Which is supposed to be pure light. There's supposed to be the goddess of time, which is mentioned in Ocarina of Time. People say it's Zelda herself being goddess of Hylia, which we're not far off from before we knew about the goddess of Hylia. Lots of interesting. I mean, it's interesting. It's something to look up if you guys are interested. Tetraforce, a lot of people covered that. Of course, no one does it anymore because Nintendo discredited it. Still interesting though. World map. A world map drawn in early development. The designers consulted the world map throughout the game's development, ensuring that no matter where the train went, players would always be able to see the Tower of Spirits located at the heart of the realm, which is really cool. Let's take a look. I always like Hyrule's designs because they always have vast amounts of land with different terrains, which is good for Link. Because as in an adventure game, it's important to keep variety within where you're adventuring to. Tower of Spirits. The Tower of Spirits is a very important place in the story, and Link visits it many times during his adventure. Perhaps the fact that such a large number of design sketches were under consideration is a reflection of its importance. Yes, lots of design sketches. A number of design sketches depict gears, wheels, and the intersection of tracks. Included are images that vary greatly from those seen in the final game. Sorry about the jump cut there. I had to take care of something. But that ends this episode anyway, so see you next time for the finale.